Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we are going to watch the Deebo Samuel and George Kittle interviews, the final one of the 2024 season. Let's see how they cap it off and how they judge themselves for this season and what they have to say about it and the future ahead. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and not waste any more time.
Hold it down, buddy.
Obviously not the results that you wanted this season. How do you look at this offseason and kind of get your mind right for the day?
One, you got to take some time off for yourself, for your mental. And then, later on, you just get back to work.
Deebo, how are you physically? Are you healthy?
Yeah, I'm healthy. Yeah, I'm good.
That's Deebo?
You're a big Will mom, so I think when you talk about that, how nice was it to hear that he's a great mentor for him?
That means a lot. Me and Ricky talk every day. Hang out as much as possible. We got close this off season. They was out there training in Arizona, and normally only like too many people train with me, but I knew who he was. And then Jacob came. Crazy story is I met Ricky at this little draft party in the club, and he was having a ball, and I was like, yeah, that's one of our guys. And just ever since then, though, with the stuff that he dealt with early on, God was with him that day and brought him out of it. And ever since then, I just try to be there as much as I can for him.
Not really about on the field action, but your son is there at the games on the sideline watching you. He's waving to the fans. He's seemingly really comfortable in the fact that his dad is out there on the field. How big of a deal is it for you to kind of have him watch you and see you out there?
That's like a blessing that, I think any football player is to have a son. And, at his age, he understands the game. He know when I got the ball, he know when Brock's got the ball, he know when people score touchdowns. And so it's just so crazy just to hear him talk. Crazy thing is sometimes, everybody in the stands call me Deebo. He was like, Deebo scored a touchdown. I was like, I'm not Deebo, I'm daddy. But it's just a blessing just to see him, day in and day out, even when you hear, his personality to the fans and everything like that.
We're going to see him on the field in 20 years?
Huh?
Are we going to see your son on the field in 20 years?
Man, if that's what he want to do, then that's what he do. If he don't want to do it, he ain't got to do it.
Talk about brotherhood this season, how you guys persevered through it.
At the end of the day, I think we spend more time here than we spend with our families, honestly. And the brotherhood is here. It's been through the roof ever since I've stepped foot in here. And I think that's big ups to John and Kyle and Jed bringing guys in of, that type. And, we kind of fell short this year. Not the season that we wanted to have, but at the end of the day, we all stick together.
How much time do you take between the end of this season, which is disappointing, and getting your mind right for the next one?
Probably till after when the Super Bowl over, I'll probably get back to work.
What was your perspective on Jawan's incident yesterday?
That's just Jawan, I don't think he did anything dirty along those lines. It's just, if you turn the tape on, it's just how he blocked until you hear the whistle. And I was explaining to the ref, I was like, yo, if I was dogging you, you'll get mad and start swinging punches just in the third, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, well, that didn't make sense for you to throw the flag. But at the end of the day, it's a game within the game. Jawan is just being Jawan, nothing dirty in my eyes.
And how impressed were you about what he did this season?
Very impressed. I had got him a gift, for him to hit 1,000 yards, but that didn't happen. But I still gave it to him on the plane. He was appreciative, but overall, Jawan had a outstanding season for sure.
Knowing that he was just a few yards away from that 1,000 yards, and he was out there playing hard like he plays, despite of knowing that he didn't expect to get thrown out, but knowing that he was fine, or seemingly he was fine after, because he knew he put it all out there on the field. How does that speak to his character?
That's just, like I just said, that's just him. That's how he going to work. That's how he be at practice and camp. It's just the standard that he played with. Every time he out there, he just give it everything he got.
Deebo, do you have any questions about being back here?
Nah, no questions at all.
Have you talked to Kyle and John about it?
Not yet, no.
Kyle had said going into the game that there was a few guys that went to him and said, I want to play, but he wasn't going to let him play. Were you one of those guys?
No, I was dealing with a rib.
Pardon?
I was dealing with a rib.
Well, you tried to block out some of the Purdy stuff this offseason. Is he going to get the extension?
At the end of the day, it ain't for me to, dig into. That's something that he'll deal with personally, him and his agent. And John Kyle and the people up top. It's not my position to, say anything about it. At the end of the day, I think Brock is going to get what he deserves.
Do you feel like Brock is the kind of guy where it's not going to change his personality?
No, not at all.
What are you going to be doing Super Bowl Sunday?
Chilling, watching the game.
Thanks, Deebo.
Yep.
Because of how well you guys played.
Well, there you have it. That is the Deebo responding to the final interview of the season. He had some things to say, saying, I don't like to train with other people. But, well, there you go. That is the Deebo. Some things he had to say when they asked him about, like, Ricky Pearsall in particular, like, hey, him joining him and training and stuff like that. He says, I don't usually like people training with him. He probably should have people train with him. I'm just saying. But Ricky Pearsall trained with him. He loved what he had to say, loved what he saw, loved the potential of Ricky Pearsall, and really wanted to help him out. Someone really needs to help him out. I'm just saying. But anyway, what Deebo had to say about Pearsall, man, like he believes in him. I believe in him from what I saw at the end of the season as well. I love what I saw from Pearsall, so I'm glad that he agrees that. And I'm glad that he's like, even though I have some, I don't want to say animosity because it's a little bit of a strong word, but like some hate towards, in like a playful way towards Deebo, him helping him out is still a big deal. Being there for Pearsall and helping him out and, putting down his pride to be like, okay, someone else is probably going to take my job, and this is probably that guy that's going to take my job. So tell him now, that's pretty cool. Just give him props for that. What he said about his son, like, hey, you're talking about how like he calls me, hey, that's Deebo scored a touchdown. He's like, oh, don't call me Deebo, I'm your daddy, motherfucker. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was adorable, a little bit wholesome. But asking, hey, are you okay if he's gonna? Are you happy if he were to play football? Is that something you want him to do? And I liked his response was, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. If he wants to do it, he wants to do it. That's a supportive father. Hey, whatever he wants to do, I'm all for it. That's what it sounds like to me. That's a good father. And that's a good role model for his son, Deebo. So shout out to Deebo for being a good father about that. And talking about Juwan Jennings and what he had to say about Juwan Jennings with the penalties that he got, they all thought it was bullshit. Like the other players was being super aggressive, practically hitting him and tackling him and stuff like that for no reason when the play was dead. And Juwan was just defending himself. I understand that, you got to defend yourself and stuff. Deebo's like talking to the ref saying, hey, man, what if this happened to you, whatever. Well, the ref's not playing the game, though. So I'm going to disagree with a little bit of Deebo. Juwan, I understand, has a lot of heart, has a lot of passion and stuff. But when it comes to the game itself, you got to be able to control your emotions. And I'm not saying, like, it's a good thing to take it, but there's a time and a place to be defending yourself like that. And in the middle of the game where you can get ejected, not reach that 1,000 yards, which I think is kind of a big deal because it's just not a big deal, but it's not a small one either, because it's making history, right? Especially in a season where you were phenomenal. You were fantastic, and you really needed to get those yards. And you were just 5 yards away, which is like, I don't know, looking at that number, if I was Juwan, I'd be like, oh my God, I was this close, But yeah, I'm super happy for Juwan and what he did this year. I liked what Deebo had to say about his son. I liked what Deebo had to say in this interview. And talking about Brock Purdy saying, I ain't going to dig into that, talk about his contract and stuff. I like that to respect the situation. He does say, I hope that he gets what he deserves. And that once he gets his money, it's not going to change. Brock will still be Brock. And I agree. Brock, out of all 32 quarterbacks, is up there with like the ones where I feel like money wouldn't change him, especially since his family has money already, so he knows what it's like, and his character is what it is already. So that is Deebo. Let's go ahead and jump into Kittle. Kittle's interview. Let's go.
So,
Oh, I can't get away from you, can I?
so it ended a little bit earlier this year than
Yep.
you would have liked. Is it haunting or?
No, not haunting. Disappointing. I mean, our standards for this organization are significantly higher. Our expectations for ourselves were higher. Our goals were higher. And, we didn't achieve any of those. So it's disappointing. I wouldn't say haunting. Team dealt with a lot. We had a ton of off-the-field things that happened that, couldn't really see coming with Ricky to our O-line coach to Charvarius Ward, Trent Williams. Like, team went through a lot this year, and, we weren't able to, get through some of those games. And, it's unfortunate. We're not happy about it. But, that's the reality that we're in, and our names are stamped on that. And so I think as an organization, we'll do everything that we can to right the ship and get more wins next year.
How tough is it when you get to this point, that the roster next year isn't going to look exactly like it does right now?
Oh, it's always tough. And I didn't really realize that until like my second or third year in the league, and just how different it changes every single year. Whether it's coaches, whether it's players, personnel, staff, like whoever it is, like it changes every single year. Besides Pete, he never leaves, in a good way though. But no, it's just so different. And you just have to, take these moments for what they are, live in the moment as best you possibly can, appreciate it for everything that they give you, learn what you can from all your teammates. And then, hopefully that you build good enough relationships that those relationships outlive just one season, and I built a lot of great relationships this year, and I'm looking forward to being friends with a lot of these guys.
Bosa said after the season, it's hard to look the other guys in the face being a leader of this team and having the season that you guys have had. That said, when you look back and reflect on the season that you had, of course, the injuries mattered. But then as far as performance, do you think that you guys just fell short? I know there were a few times throughout the season that you guys talked about not being able to play complementary football. Now that you're able to reflect, what do you think it was?
I haven't reflected too much because we played yesterday. But I will say that I'm pretty sure we had I have no idea what the number is, but it felt like we had 20 turnovers and then didn't get any turnovers. And so when you're turning the ball over that much and you're not scoring in the red zone, and you're not getting turnovers, it's hard to win football games. And that's just is what it is. Because I know as an offense, we moved the hell out of the football all year. I feel like besides 2 weeks, we're top 5 every single week. We moved the ball really well, but we couldn't score. We turned the ball over all the time. So it's hard to win football games like that. And you look back and reflect. I can look all my teammates in the face. I put my all out there, and a lot of the guys in this locker room, they put everything that they're all out there as well. So I have no shame in that. And you can go check the tape. And if you're okay with your resume, which is on the tape, then you should be okay with your season.
Who's winning the Eshmont mean in terms of the season didn't go the way you wanted, but obviously teammates were looking to you still in tough times.
Anything that you get awarded based on voting by your teammates and your peers is one of the biggest awards, because they're the ones that are with you every single day. They're the ones that show up with you at 6:30, getting ice tubs with you. They're the ones that stay late with you doing extra treatment. They're the guys that see you all the time. And so for you to be a real person and go through that every single day for the entire season, it means a lot to me to be awarded that from my teammates, because if you have the respect of your teammates, you're doing something right.
At what point in the offseason do you kind of go from prioritizing R&R to prioritizing preparing for next season?
Well, I haven't really had a January in several years, so I'll revisit that. In the past, what I usually do is I usually train the day after the Super Bowl starts. But I get an itch in my neck because I feel like everyone's trying to catch up or surpass me, and I don't want that to ever happen. So I'm gonna do everything I can to be fully ready and ready to roll by whenever I come back here. Oh, what's up?
Did you see a development? Did you see anything different? Or stayed the same from previous years?
I'd say yes to both those. I think there are some things that stay consistent. I thought just his preparation was one thing I've always harped on about Brock is he was always very consistent in everything that he did. He was one of the first guys in the building, takes care of his treatment, takes care of his mind, doing everything he can to be his best self every single day. And he kept doing that, and he added to that. Things that changed. I thought Brock took a huge step forward as a leader this year. I really do. How vocal he was in the huddle, just on the sidelines talking to the guys. One thing I've realized is that while I'm a team captain, and I can go talk to players and I can hype guys up, but when the starting quarterback does it, it just carries more weight. It just does it. And every team that I've been a part of, when the quarterback is talking to the offensive line, when he's talking to the wide receivers, he's the guy delivering it. He's the guy who's talking all the time. So he did a great job of stepping up in that regard, I thought. And he's definitely got more room to grow there too, and he'll figure that out the more that he plays and the more that he's around the guys. But I'm really actually just looking forward for Brock to have an actual full off season for himself. I think that'll help him out tremendously.
I'll take 2 more for George.
Ooh, 2 more.
What are you going to be doing Super Bowl Sunday?
Me, Super Bowl Sunday? Shoot, I have no idea. That's a good question. Probably on a flight back home from New Orleans because I'll be working down there. And I'll probably be on my property hanging out.
George,
Last question. It better be good.
Pressure? Oh, crap. George, it would seem as if a contract extension could be advantageous for both yourself and the franchise. Would you be interested in that? And do you or your agent have any initial conversations with the 49ers regarding that?
No, that was a good question. Great job. I said it very clearly too. I said it yesterday. I want to be a Niner for my entire career. Love wearing the red and gold, and whatever the front office wants to do, I'm all ears.
Incredibly hard. Yeah, very difficult. But
So that was George Kittle's interview. What he had to say. Well, I loved what he had to say. Always has that energy, man. No matter what, even with this bum ass season that's happened, he always tends to always brings the vibes, man. He's a good guy, dude. When the reporter asked him like this haunting season, and I thought that was kind of a weird way to put it, but his response was great, man. He just said, "I wasn't. It's more like it's disappointing. Went through a lot that you just couldn't overcome. One of the biggest things was turnovers. He says that the turnovers were probably the biggest one, and." As for players who are feeling bad about the season or whatever, bad about their resume because they have a losing season like this, coaches see what you bring on tape. And if you're happy with what you brought on tape, brought 100% everything on tape, you should be happy with your resume. And I like that. That's words of encouragement. Man is just a bona fide leader, man. He's like the heart and soul of this culture of the organization when it comes to, keeping the vibes up. And he did what he had to say about Brock was that one of the biggest step forwards for Brock was that he became a leader this year. And he really emphasized that a lot in this interview. And he talks about how, like, I'm just the tight end, and I people do recognize me as a captain and as me as leader. But when you're the quarterback of the team, like, you're supposed to be the pinnacle of the leader of the team. That's the guy, is the quarterback. And he acknowledged that. And Brock did that this year. And that's good to hear, especially in a season where everything kind of fell apart and stuff, It does sound like George Kittle respects Brock in a lot of ways. And it didn't come off as word salad. It came off genuine. And that's what really Kittle is, man. It's really, like, it's hard to – I feel like – not hard to, but I feel like George Kittle does not ever be fake. And that's what we love about him, And – as for his contract coming up, he says that's up to the 49ers. He wants to be a Niner for life. He says all the right things. And I want him to be a Niner for life. And some people want to say I'm a George Kittle hater. That's what Poggy says or whatever. But there was some things. I don't want to get into it, but I love the guy. I want him on the team. I want to be a Niner for life. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's an amazing tight end. And from the jump, he's been just a phenomenal tight end, I've never realistically been disappointed in the guy. And as for what he's going to do on Super Bowl Sunday, apparently he's working in New Orleans. So he's going to be working Super Bowl stuff. He's going to be doing a bunch of things. And after the Super Bowl, he's going to get right back into work. It's just like he always does. After the Super Bowl, just jump straight into training. And it sounds to me that he's going to be ready for the next season, just like he always is. Every single year, he is always ready to go and always brings it. I love the guy. And I'm so thankful as a 49ers fan to have him on the squad. What a steal for the 49ers to get him in the 5th round. Just an amazing tight end. And, yeah. As for Deebo, going back to that, my goodness, the guy needs to stop saying at the end of the day. At the end of the day. At the end of the day. I know this a little bit off subject, a little bit more of a critique that's kind of came out of nowhere, but my God, dude, that dude is obsessed with saying at the end of the day. I understand we have mannerisms. I understand that we have, like, our go-to sayings like so, or whatever at the end of sentences, but my God, is that long. But at the end of the day, this is what we do. But at the end of the day, man, Brock's the guy. And at the end of the day, man, this is, my son needs to call me daddy, not Deebo. At the end of the day, I help out Pearsall. Stop it. Stop it. It's so annoying, dude. So annoying. So anyway, those are the 2 interviews from George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. Let me know what you guys think and what you have to say about the whole situation and these end of season interviews. Like the video, comment, sub if you haven't subbed already, because every time you do, it makes my 49ers heart go from here to here. All Wolfpack, all love Wolfpack. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang.